Hey, welcome back to D-Loney V8 Motorsports. Shout out to the sweatshirt sponsor. Greasy Slacker, that's Joe DiOrio, Old Car Parts. Joe does business up in Portland. I've known him since high school. He used to drive a 66 El Camino every day to auto shop class. How you doing, Joe? Anyway, hey, a little update on the Buick. We've got a few things done. I want to show you those. So let's dive under this thing and check it out. Well, it's Friday night and we're going underneath this Buick. We're gonna pull this gas tank out. It's an original tank. It's got a big old dent in it right here. And I don't know if this thing's ever been out of here. It's got some insulation pad above it that looks pretty factory. Anyway, these big studs, two big nuts hold these straps on. So those have to come off. The gas gauge is disconnected, and then fuel line, which on this thing goes down the driver's side, that's gonna change. It's gonna go down the passenger side, and then looks like a vent hose up there. I'll just cut those, and I gotta get this ground off of here too. It's like 5/16. Anyway, yeah, so we're making it rain here on a Friday night in Oregon City. Stay with us. All right, well, it wasn't pretty, but gas tank is out. And I do think it's never been out of the car before. That looks like a real GM insulation, quiet Buick thing to do. Looks like some mud got up there. There's even an old leaf. And this thing still has gas in it. And actually, it's probably still good. So need to get that dealt with. Get it into a can. Anyway, progress. All right, well, I'm usually pretty bad at doing the before and after. I always forget the before and I just get in there. Anyway, we're gonna clean the bottom of this trunk pan. I just can't put that new fuel tank in here without cleaning it first. So I actually been cleaning, whoops, production quality. I've actually been cleaning up there as well. It's pretty grimy. I want to, anywhere the transmission or engine are gonna cover, I wanna make sure I clean it now. And so, you know, this thing's not a concourse car by a long shot, but I like things cleaned. So we'll do the before, we'll get you the after in a second. All right, well, I think we can feel better about that. Got the mud off of there, cleaned up pretty easy. The tools of the trade, glass cleaner. And I regularly get old towels from certain family members, including my youngest daughter. Anyway, here's the first towel, the second towel, and the third towel. Anyway, yeah, I pretty much end up trashing those towels, but they work great. This thing's cleaned up, and we can put that gas tank in here whenever we're ready. Couple things on today's efforts. There is, I'm pretty sure, the original tailpipe hanger from 1964. Pretty beefy. That thing hung on for a long time. This thing had single exhaust on it with the 6-banger, and so it was out the right rear. And then an old PCV valve was bouncing around in the trunk, who knows for how long, and took that out of there. And then I noticed too, so there's the new gas tank straps. This tank was made in Canada, so I'm assuming the straps were too. And then there's the originals. Look what Buick did. They reinforced these straps knowing they're gonna, I guess, have a lot of weight and be in there for a long time. I may end up using the original straps. They're in good shape. They're not bent at all. So clean them up, paint them, and probably use them. All right, another look underneath this thing towards the front. There's some of the cleaning efforts. And I'm getting ready to run the fuel line. So it should be able to protect that fuel line pretty well. I haven't done this on an A-body before. The only other one I did with aluminum line was a 68 Camaro, and that was a bit of a challenge, subframe car. Anyway, should be able to snake that half-inch aluminum fuel line over the top of the frame, and then it'll ride inside the frame channel towards the front. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do when I get to the front. I actually ran an old piece of wiring through the frame just to see what it might be like to get it through there. If I can, I'm gonna run it inside that. You want the fuel line to not be able to come in contact with a clutch explosion. And so I know in my yellow car, it's got a super beefy piece of pipe that the fuel line runs through as it goes past the clutch. Anyway, that's the theory, but I definitely want to get that in here before the transmission and cross member and headers and everything else are in my way. So gonna try to get that going. We'll see how it turns out. All right, showing you some of the process here. The left rear airbag, I was able to wrestle in there. It was a fight. I've done this before. I don't remember it being this hard. I think maybe because I'm not quite as strong as I used to be. It was, 20 years ago or something. Anyway, the right side, I gave up and pulled the shocks loose, pulled the spring out, and the bag slipped right in there. And so this rear end actually has, it's a quick performance 9-inch rear end. It has these little stilts on the bottom that kind of hold the springs in place. And those touch the bottom of the airbag. And so I'm gonna need to get something. These come with the airbag kit and they're for the top. The air hose goes through the center hole there. And so maybe I'll see if I can just get another pair of these or something rubber, some kind of insulator for the bottom of those bags, because they're not gonna like rubbing on that steel. So I'm still a long way off of driving this thing, but yeah, making a big mess, wrestling, maybe even cussing a little bit, but it's gonna go. And these bags are gonna be in place and ready to be aired up, other than the insulator thing we need for that. If you got any ideas, holler at me. Thank you. All right, well, those airbags have air in them and they're working. It actually lifted the car up a little bit, even at 15-ish pounds. And so not too worried about the contact. As long as the car's not moving, I don't think it's gonna cause any problems. So still gotta get something to cover the bottom of those bags to protect them. But got everything in there, snaked in the air lines. I put one on each side. I lost the little cap, but I got about 500 of those in my drawer. So anyway, airbags are on. Did not get the fuel line in or the fuel tank in, but everything's ready to go. And I kind of mapped out where I wanted to run the fuel lines. I wanted the airbags in there just to make sure I didn't have any interference anywhere with the lines and the fuel line. And so not likely. It looks like it's pretty open, and pretty sure I know how I'm gonna run that fuel line. And so that's next, that and the tank. One of the other little challenges, so that is the sending unit for the new fuel tank. And you can see it already has a 1/2-inch pickup, which is great. I need to get a fitting in there, and I'm not sure. I may actually take this thing and have a Dash 8 bung just welded right onto the unit there. It looks like it's a piece of billet, so I think it'll take it. And there is a provision for a return line and all that, which is good, but I shouldn't need a return line. I'm gonna have the mechanical fuel pump on there, and so just need to get a Dash 8 out of the end of this thing and it'll be good to go. I can put the fuel tank in there. You can get to this real easy on an A-body with it in the car. So I'll get the fuel tank in, get the fuel line run, but I need to get a fitting and or maybe some welding done. I'm not a welder. Well, I guess chalk this up to hot rodding. So we got the old center link on top and the new center link on the bottom, and bought the individual center link from Summit. It looked like it fit, at least from their website. And it looks identical, but check out the diameter on those shafts. So skinny, fat. And so when you put the new one in there and you tighten it down, it actually doesn't, it contacts right here. So this one would tighten down, it would leave a little bit of a gap, and it would still rotate and move like it should. This one, when you tighten it down, it basically tightens that against the other component and wouldn't move. So the thing wouldn't steer once it was all tightened down. Good times. So I'll be contacting Summit figuring out what I can do and hopefully get the right part. All right, check it out, feast your eyes. Something actually got done. The fuel tank is in place. I'll take you around to the front and show you that too. Even got new bolts and nylock nuts so it won't fall off of there. Uh-oh, we scratched the bottom a little bit, dragging it on the floor, but it has got a dash 8 fitting for the pickup, and I actually added a little extension onto the pickup as well. I'm guessing it probably hits somewhere back here, so when the fuel sloshes to the back of the tank when you leave the line, you want your fuel pickup to be picking up fuel. Anyway, I need to run a vent line. The stock one is pretty hammered, so I'll replace that piece of rubber line, hook up the ground, hook up the gas gauge. I really hope that works. Gonna need that in this car. And that'll be it for the fuel tank install. The fuel line is gonna get started next. One other thing I was gonna share, I guess file this under don't ever throw anything away. I had a little roll of this rubber stuff. It came with the dual fan setup I had on my old 67 Nova. Anyway, it's rubber. It's kind of like a trim piece, and I'm gonna put it around the edge of that circular thing under the airbag. And that way the airbag will be contacting rubber and not steel. I don't know if this is gonna be durable enough. What I actually thought about doing too was taking a piece of rubber fuel line and, you know, slicing it down the middle and, you know, slicing it enough to get around the circumference of that thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's a good solution for that? You know, a flat plate of some kind welded to that would be a good permanent measure, but I don't see that happening before this thing hits the road. So, but that's still a ways away too. All right, a little update on what's happening in the front of the car. So, starting on some of the brake plumbing. So I phoned a friend, Scott Davis, says the front brakes should come out of the rear port of the master cylinder. This thing had a 1-port master cylinder from the factory. So the Biondo line lock has an in and an out. My theory is I'm gonna do some kind of a bracket off of these 2 bolts, maybe one of the 2 bolts, and then I'm gonna have to try to make some nice bends without kinking it and get that brake line to snake around and go into the line lock. And then one will come out of the bottom of the line lock and it'll hit that right there. And so I need a fitting for that because that's too big for this size brake line. Sorry, that fitting. Anyway, and then the rear brakes come from right here. So I'm gonna have to bend that around. That's the factory brake line, and that's gonna end up going right here. And so I'm gonna have to get a coupler for that as well and try to do a nice bend, tie it down, maybe keep it tight on the firewall. Got to keep away from the clutch cross shaft as well. And so that's what's happening there. The motor mount towers, so these are the ones actually George blasted and painted and sourced for me. Got those in, and actually the header was pretty close to one of those bolts. So problem solved. I got some nice stainless button head Allens. I'm gonna put those in there. It's gonna be kind of fun to get the nuts on from underneath, but whatever, we'll make it work. And then got some new bolts for the motor mounts. I gotta cut them off. They're a little bit long. That's fine, custom made. So, and cotter pins. If you need to borrow any cotter pins, I've got 560 of them. So that's enough for the rest of my life, I'm sure. Anyway, gonna work on the grill just because it's fun. It's chrome, right? That's the original grill. Still has a bunch of overspray on it and stuff. So I'm gonna clean that all up. And that's where those T3, that's where those amber lights are gonna go. You can see that is the original T3 in there, right? For the high beam. Is that the same on both sides? No. So that's the only T3 left in this old girl. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening. I think we're just kind of puttering around from here to there, doing little things. I don't have the front shocks on yet. I'll do that here pretty soon and get all the cotter pins in. And oh yeah, the center link. And so the new center link is on its way from Summit. Emma at Summit helped me with that. There is a slight difference. It's a 1/16 of an inch diameter difference on the center link itself. And so I believe she hooked me up. It's the same company. It's a similar part number. Of course, it's a little more money. It's just the way it goes, hot rodding. So I should have that center link tomorrow. I'll bolt that thing in. I'm looking forward to getting the steering totally buttoned up, everything tight, all the cotter pins installed, and be done with that part of it. So check the box. Hey, check this thing out too. Borrowed this from George Burns. Working on the fuel line, and he loaned me this straightener. You run the fuel line in one way and it comes out nice and straight. So you get this thing tightened down so it's kind of snug there, and pretty slick tool. Run it back and forth and it straightens the tubing right out. So tubing's gonna have bends in the car for sure, but it'll be a little nicer to work with a straight piece and then snake it, make the bends where you need them, instead of, trying to straighten that on the garage floor and make it look good. So thanks, George. Good loan. Well, the new center link showed up today. Thanks, Summit Racing. The original one here is on the bottom, and you can see it, larger shaft, right? So that's the original, and then this is the one that I had bought, and you can see the shaft here is smaller, and then there's the new one. So looks like the new one, or the latest one, is the correct size. It should bolt right on. Let's get it on there and see. All right, well, the center link saga is over. Everything works as it should. It's actually nice and tight. Everything still needs to be greased, but yep, the right center link, bolts are tight. I need to, all the cotter pins are in place. I just haven't bent them over. So I'll probably recheck all the nuts, finish putting the cotter pins in, and this saga is over. We will have steering. It's all good. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. We're gonna keep plugging away on this thing. Still no sign of the engine. Looking forward to seeing that roll back in the door, hopefully soon. Thanks for watching.